And we are live. Hey designers, I hope you have a great day. In today's live stream, we are starting a little bit earlier because I have some stuff to do later. So I have to condense this live stream for today a little bit, but hopefully you're going to watch the replay a bit later once it's finished. So in today's live stream, I wanted to show you what you can do with Inception design system rather than using finished templates. Maybe you just want to design using the components from the design system itself. So that's what we are going to do today. So for those of you who are not familiar with design system at all, here is how it's going to look like. So let me just hide these captions really quickly. So here it is, it's inceptiondesignSystem.co. And for those of you who are not aware of this design system, maybe you didn't saw the videos on my YouTube channel. So YouTube channel is Alex on Design on YouTube, and you can find the playlist right here. So if you're not familiar with what the design system is, hopefully you are going to be familiar after today's live stream. But if you want to check it out later and see separate parts which are not going to be covered in today's live stream, maybe you want to check out this free course on YouTube. And once again, inceptiondesignSystem.co links are going to be for both of these in the chat. And also if you're watching this on YouTube and Behance, I'm going to attach the links to the YouTube video and to the Behance page as well. Hello once again to everybody who is watching, and let me just scroll a little bit just so you can see, so you can design faster. And it's based on molecular structure, so we have atoms and molecules. It's based on the 8-pixel grid, local and cloud, so you can work both locally and in the cloud with your team, with your teammates, and with your clients. It has flowcharts, it has templates, and it has animated low-T icons. So once again, if you want to get more details, you can check out the course. And without using any more of today's time, you can see it has advanced features like stacks, component states, document assets, and so much more. And finally, how it looks like is like this. So we have this file, which is Inception Design System master file, and you can see all of the previews are located inside of this design system master file. And once again, links are going to be in the chat and in the video description. And sorry about this Alex on Design that you can see right there. Hopefully, no, right there. So it's in the bottom left corner of the screen. I cannot fix that, so sorry about that. I'm going to check with Restream people to hide that for the future live stream, because it's really annoying to see that. Hopefully you are not seeing that, but if you are, let me know in the comments. And let me quickly check the chat if somebody is there. Hello to everybody who's watching on Behance, on Web Donut page, as well as on YouTube, Alex on Design. So let's get this started. So what we have right here is Inception Design System master file, as I said. And if I zoom in a little bit closer, what you can see right here is we have a little bit of an intro message. Let me hide myself really quickly so you can see it a little bit better. So as I said, we have this intro message, then we have our grids. So we have desktop, tablet, and mobile. And here on the desktop, grid large, we have 12 columns. On medium for the tablet, we have 8, and small for the phone, we have 4. Of course, as I mentioned in the course, you can add more, you can delete these, you can create your own. It doesn't really matter. What matters is these are our grids for today. So you can change these if you get the design system and do with it whatever you want. Once again, you can watch the full course to learn more about it. So below that, we have these guides, and you can copy these guides throughout your design. And here we have headings, we have main colors, then we have supporting colors, logos of big companies, icons, and we also have animated icons separately in a folder as Lottie files. And I explained that in the course. Once again, you can check it out if you're interested. Then we have these buttons. So these are our atoms and molecules right here, flowcharts are right here, and finally we have templates for desktop, tablet, and mobile right here. So we have buttons, then we have text inputs, we have it with icon, without icon, text areas with labels, without labels, we have selectors, default value inline, then we have tags, labels, toggles, links, breadcrumbs, tooltip, date pickers, we have content switchers, progress indicators, search, notifications, pagination, avatars, models, inputs, number inputs, we have accordions, dropdowns, then we have some devices which are fully editable. And if I zoom in a little bit closer, you can see that 8-pixel grid popping in really nicely. Then we have images for large, medium, and small in different column widths. So as I mentioned, for desktop, for example, we have 12 columns wide, so it's this one, for example. Then we have full screen, which is this one. Then we have, for example, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1 column wide, so all sizes of all columns are covered for the images. Then we have blobs right here, and you can add blobs just as a separate elements on the back of your designs. Hey to everybody in the chat, hope you're doing well, hope you have a nice day. And what we have else is, if I unzoom a little bit, we have this. So we have flowcharts for desktop, for mobile. As you can see, all types of different categories. So we have headers, we have content, then we have sliders, footers, features, blogs, shop, and so much more. Then we have these elements, so for the task flow and for flowcharts. And we have these printing papers, which I'm going to get to in just a second. And finally, we have 15 different categories for our templates. So from navigation to hero, to features, to call to actions, galleries, shop, pricing pages, portfolio, login, sign up, and so much more. Once again, in 3 sizes, we have desktop, tablet, and mobile. And finally, I want to show you this, because if I zoom in a little bit closer, all of these papers are the same. So we have A4 portrait, A4 landscape, and we have US letter portrait and US letter landscape sizes. So let me check the chat. Hi, Steve. Hi, Classical Music Scores from Kruševac. So hope you are doing well. So as I said, what we have here for the papers, if I zoom in a little bit, so for the A4 size, for example, and if I switch to my layers panel, just so you are able to see what's going on inside. So what we have here is, if Adobe Xd decides to work today, for some reason we have this bug. Let me refresh my desktop. It usually works. For some reason, it won't show me this. Let's try it now. Here we go. So we have all of these things inside. So I decided to do this for the paper wireframing purposes. So if I see myself, there I am. So, okay. If I click this, we have dot grid, which is not really visible now. So let me select this. Let me hide my square size, so white can pop up. There you go. A little bit slower today because I'm running several different apps in the background in order for me to do this live stream. So we have dot grid, and dot grid is really useful. I'm going to show you in just a second why. Basically, you can print this on any kind of piece of paper. You can change the color of the background. For example, it can be a black piece of paper, then you can print it on white. Or if you have these black pieces of paper, you can print white dots on them. For example, if you have gray piece of paper, yellow, you can do with this whatever you want. Then below that, if I hide this, we have the phones. And I'm running a little bit slower today with my machine. I'll have to shut some tabs really quickly. So let's close Google Chrome. It usually works as it is. So as I said, we have phones in different orientations. Then we have responsive. And I showed all of these things inside of the course, so you can check it out. Once again, it's free on YouTube. So we have responsive for the browser. You can see here the desktop and here the mobile browser, which is full width. And finally, we have this, which says flowchart info. Hopefully it's going to kick into life now. Come on. I'm not sure what's going on with this. So you can see right here. So we have client, project name, deadline, number of website pages, number of app screens, if that's what you are doing. And basically what I did is I turned on this dot grid piece of paper for my A4 size. And if I switch to this camera, just to show you what I did is, if I zoom in a little bit closer, let the camera focus, you can see that I draw a quick wireframe on the piece of paper. And if I zoom in really closely, you can see all of these dots which I mentioned. So this piece of paper is basically what I just show you inside of the design system itself. You can simply turn it on, print it out, save it as a PDF, print it out to any kind of piece of paper that you want, and basically you're going to get this look. So if I go back to my Adobe Xd, and you guys are always complaining in my live streams and videos that you don't have printers, so what I did for scanning is simply used my phone. So basically the thing that you saw right here, I simply use my phone, snap a picture of it, and simply transfer that picture to my computer. And then we got this. So here we have the wireframe, which we are going to work on today. Let me quickly check the chat. Hey, Stefan, I hope you're doing well. So let's get back to it. And what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm going to jump in right here to our grid large, and I'm going to simply select that because that's what we're going to be using for our website, because we are going to work with the desktop size for today. And if you watch the course, then you are going to know that we have two design system files, light and this master file. In light file, we don't have any of these preview images. We just have the blank piece of canvas basically, so you can do with it whatever you want. But in this master file, you can see all of the previews in real time. That's why we are using those. So if I zoom in just a little bit closer, right here, so we have this as a preview. Let me extend this, and you can see that we have all of these grid lines here. So before we do anything, I'm going to lower them down to 40%, and let's try to rename this if Xd will allow. It will not, so let me refresh my desktop. Yeah, it works like that. Website, so let's call it like this for now, and car website, because that's what we are going to actually do today. So without further ado, let's quickly check what we are going to actually work on today. I hope you can see that. You can. So I'm going to simply create a really rough wireframe today, and then in next week's live stream, we are going to actually polish this up. We are going to add some more features to it. We are going to add different colors. We are going to add images. We are going to add copy, custom icons, even animated icons, especially for some arrows, which you're going to see down below. And these animated icons are going to come in this design system. So if you get the design system, animated icons are there. So basically we have a header right here, then we have some search function, and users are going to be able to search by brand, by location, price range, and fuel type of the vehicle itself. Then below that, best car portal around, some features, some logos from big companies, trending new cars. So we are going to have these cards, so basically price, car name, and location with an icon times 2. So we're going to have 2 of these. Button below that to show all. It's going to take to the different page, what customers are saying, so basic testimonial there from our blog. So we're going to have a date maybe, and then the text down below. See all, that times 2. See all button to take you to the blog, for example. Then we're going to have a get the latest updates, email, and subscribe button, and finally a simple footer at the bottom of the page. So let's get started and let's be doing this. So I'm going to hide myself just so you can see a little bit better. And let me know in the chat, is the music too loud? Can you even hear it at all? I'm really eager to find out. So once again, to work with design system, if you watch the course, all of this is explained, but if not, you're going to get your head around it in this video. So I'm going to start by simply drawing a rectangle. Let's put it at 80, and let's give it a full width like this. Let me know in the comments, have you ever worked with the design system before? Because I'm really eager to find out, and in my opinion, it's the best of both worlds. If you ever used wireframes, if you ever used UI kits. Oh, thanks, Steve. I'm really great that really great to hear that music is good. So it combines both wireframes, UI kits, design system. It has everything. So I'm really eager to learn. Have you ever used design system in your work? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use my logo. So all of these are components, and basically you can simply drag and drop them in place. And hopefully this is going to work today, because Xd is working really slowly for me. So I might have to shut some tabs on my browser and close a few windows here and there. So basically the idea behind this is you can drag and drop all of these elements onto your artboard without going externally and locating these different elements like logos, like icons, like all of these things. So when you start with your project, you're going to accumulate all of these elements like buttons, like small animations, like icons, images, models, pagination, all of these things that you see right here. So as that site expands, as your client or your company add more and more pages to it, then you are going to add more and more of these elements, and then perhaps they're going to employ another designer or a design team. Then all of you can be able to jump inside that design system and simply scale from there, add more elements, change more elements, make global changes. What I explained in the course, and I'm not going to cover it here today because we are already at 17 minutes, is you can change all of these. So we have headlines, we have body copy, we have main colors, and we have supporting colors. You can change all of them with a click. So that's the whole point of a design system. And all of these things like corner radiuses and stuff like that, you can change all of them with a click. So before moving further, let me select my artboard. I'm going to apply this color, so just to break it up a little bit so it's not completely white in this case. And let's get started. So I'm going to hide my logo actually because I don't need it anymore. And let's locate a button. So here are the buttons, and let's use default button. So you have all of these options right here. So let's use main button default medium. I'm going to drag it to here. And you can see that, actually, no, let's not use that. Let's use button default medium because it has multiple states in it and main doesn't. It just has one state. So I'm going to position it roughly around here and say a register in it, a register. And I'm going to copy that text and switch to the layers panel. And you can see all of these states as it decides to work, hopefully. I don't know what goes on with Xd today, but it's working really slowly for me. So apologies if you have to sit through all of these saving issues. So let's position it roughly around here. So register, because in our animation we have cars, dealers, loans, reviews, about us. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's switch to here. And as I said, I could just use a template for this, but I don't want to. The whole idea behind today's live stream is to show you how this works. So cars, hopefully, no. So I have to refresh my desktop. Oh my God. Cars, like this. Let's make it left aligned, like so. And let's change it here to, let's see, 16. Yeah. And let's put it in a group. So Control G, let's call this nav items. So let's put it in a stack like this. And let's use what I said, 5 or 6. Is it 2, 4, 5? Right? Yeah. So let's do this. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey everybody in the chat. Hey Uri, glad to see you here as well. So let's change these items. So we have dealers, loans, reviews. Let's do it like this. So this is going to be dealers. If it decides to work, it doesn't. So dealers, come on, loans. I really don't know what's going on with Xd today. As you can see, it's just frozen. It doesn't want to work. So let me, yeah, my computer just died. So let me turn this on and let me try to save this file if possible. And then come back to it in just a second. So let me do that so you can look at this while I try to save this out and see if it wants to work. If not, then we are going to sadly have to end this live stream, and maybe I can start one more time or do something with it, but it's just buggy. I don't know what's going on. It's just, yeah. So from time to time, I'm having these issues, and I'm really stressed about it. So I think it works now how it should be, hopefully. So let's try again. Loans, there we go. Come on, reviews, like that, and about us. Come on. No, it's just buggy. Refresh one more time. About us, there we go. Trying this today and it was working just fine because I wanted to test out and see if everything is as it should. No, 64, let's try 48 for example. And let's align it with this grid line. Let's bring back our 8 pixel grid, so square grid like this, just so that we can see what we are dealing with, like so. And there we go. So let's call that our animation, our navigation. And if I hit a preview really quickly, what you're going to notice is this. So our hover works straight away, and there are many different states to this button inside. Once again, main components of all of these components do not have any states, so you can add your own states if you choose so, but in these cases we have these states, so you can jump inside, you can rearrange them however you want, and you're going to notice, especially in this case, button is going to expand because it has pagination inside, while in some other cases we have some fixed widths, fixed heights and stuff like that. So just pay attention, and in majority of cases we have these hints, so hopefully it will work while I show you this. Let's say here, so you can see these top tips and you can read more about them, and once again all of it is explained in the course, so you can check it out on YouTube. So let's deal with this now. So we have two text, two button and an image, so let's do that. So what I'm going to do is let's group this, so let's call this nav. Once again it doesn't work, so I have to refresh nav bg. These small items are really bugging me from time to time about the Xd. So nav, but it's just because, as I keep mentioning, I'm running several different apps on my machine, so that's why it's running a little bit slower than usual. So let's do this. So let's take, let's see, text, and let's call it what I say right here, easiest way. Come on, easiest way buy and sell new or used cars, like this. So let's bring it down to here. 32, let's go right here and change it to 48 maybe. I think that looks good. Align it like so. Control D, let's change this to 24 maybe. Let's switch it to here. Let me hide myself so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And let's expand this to, let's say, roughly around here. So 2, 4, 6 columns like so. And let me actually go inside, use my lorem ipsum to fill with placeholder text like so. There we go. And now that we have those two, let's group them like this. There we go. Position it just below our nav like so. And what I'm going to do is locate an image. So I'm going to come right here to images, and you can also use the search bar right here. So I'm going to use image large, perhaps 6 column, drag it, but right here, because this is a component as well, and I don't want it to replace my component. I just wanted to place it right here. So let me close these ones. If you accidentally hit the name, it's going to open up everything, but if you click on the icon itself, it's just going to open that item that you want. What we have right here, 40, let's go with 48 for example, because we are on that 8 pixel grid. Let's position it right here, and let's locate the button. So I'm going to use button default medium. So once again, same button like this one, and drag and drop it, position it right here, and I'm going to write inside buy a car, and the other one is going to be sell a car. I'm going to copy this because once again we have different states right here. So if I switch to hover and select this text inside, I'm going to position it there. So buy a car, there we go. Go back to here, come on, hover, there we go. I'm going to put it in a group straight away. I'm going to call this group buttons. Refresh once again, buttons, stupid bug. And I'm going to reach out to people at Adobe just to see what's going on with that, because I have to do that all the time, even though when I'm not live streaming, sometimes it switches. So I want to choose this one, but for this one I want to use ghost and use ghost default medium like this, replace it. So that's the beauty of the design system. I'm going to give it sell a car like this. There we go. Switch this to, once again it's bugging on me, to hover like so. That's why on the last few live streams I pre-recorded these, just because I can edit if there is some issue with them, but I like to be with you guys live and answer any questions live. So quite a lot of system memory, I know, to see how many resources are being used by streaming application plus other software. Uh, it's actually not a lot. The main issue with this is Google Chrome, believe it or not, because Google Chrome just eats through memory. But because I have so many extensions in my Google Chrome, it's actually the main reason of slowing on my machine. So you can see it's like I'm using a computer which is like 15 years old or something like that, which is just terrible. So let me use this 24 and let's just check really quickly if that works. Right here, so buy a car, sell a car, both of them work really well. So let's just nudge them to 40 maybe. Let's just put this in the center like this maybe. So let's put it in a group. Content, like so. Image, middle. There we go. Like so, and I think we can call it a day there. So let's position this down below. And what we need right here, if it decides to work at all, as I said, if not, and if this keeps bugging me because I'm already 30 minutes and I basically didn't do anything, so I'm going to pre-record it and release it, for example, tomorrow or something like that, just because of these bugs and issues. And as I said, Steve, Chrome is just a killer. So if you ever try to do something like this, Chrome is your worst enemy. So what we have right here is brand, location, price rate. So maybe Dropdowns, maybe those are going to be the right sort of option. So let's locate Dropdowns right here. So selectors, let's see, selector, default value. Let me actually check. So that's why I'm in my master file. So check it out, see where it's located. Here we go. So selectors default. We are going to use those. Selectors, here we go. And actually I'm going to go default. So select a default medium and drag it, but not this, but default, because I don't want to have any additional states. Let's check that. Let's go to our layers panel. Let's delete this text at the bottom, like so. So it's taking way too much time. But what are you going to do? It's always a struggle with these live streams. If things don't go well, simply try another time. So 48 for this one. And because I have 4 of them, I'm going to simply use 3 columns wide. So on this first one, what it says, let me check brand. Brand, once again, it doesn't work, so I have to refresh. Like so. So brand, and I'm going to simply duplicate this arrow, Control D, position it right here, which is going to push my text around a little bit. And then I'm going to come right here to the icons. So let me locate my icons. There we go. And what I need for the brand is the icon, which is not here, but I'm going to include that in a separate stream because I want to use some custom icons and some native icons to this live stream. So I'm going to use this one just to differentiate it. And you can see, just drag and drop it inside. It's going to put it in place. And final thing, we need this to be 3 columns wide. So I'm going to select my text. And I'm going to simply position it right here until this is 16 from this edge. And you can see now we are at 3 columns wide. So once again, that we have this main selector default medium. You can see the naming structure. Let's check if somebody else left a comment. No, while it decides to work. I'm going to put it in a group. And let's call these, I don't know, for example, selectors. Again, I have to refresh like this, and on selectors I'm going to use the stack feature like so, and let me bump up to 4, 2, 3, and then finally 4. And for all of them I'm going to use the distance of 24 in a stack like so. And you can see how simple this is to work with because of Xd's awesome features. So not to lose any time, more, but actually let's. So I want to write location here, and here on this next one it's going to say price range. So because this is a drop down and not a slider, perhaps we can drop it down and then expand this to I have to refresh once again. This is killing me. Price range. Perhaps we can put something in the drop down, like, I don't know, 0 to 10,000, 10,000 to 20,000 and stuff like that. And finally, fuel type, because that's really important. You're choosing your car. Let's close this main one and simply move on from here. So I'm going to try and do this for like 10 or 15 minutes more, and if it still doesn't work, I'm going to re-record this once again, as I said, and come back to you guys. So let's use this text. Let's go like this. I'm going to position this here, Control C, Control V, move it outside, like so. Yeah, I have to use Chrome because I'm using this streaming software, so it's not like I'm like to torture myself or whatever, but I'm using a streaming software which works in Chrome, so I have to use Chrome, sadly. So that's why this takes so long, and that's why it's killing me. So sadly, we have to continue like that. But as I said, I'm going to stop it in like 10 or 15 minutes. I just want to show you guys while I'm still here and trying and killing myself here. I want to show you how easy it is to work with this if it works. I mean, if your computer works. This is going to work, obviously, as you saw. So your computer is just the main killing machine right here. So just a top tip: if you're doing if you're working and having Chrome in the background and a lot of tabs open, if you don't have the speediest machine ever, then don't try that. So just kill your Chrome and work with something else. So 46, let's position it right here, and let's say best car portal around. It's killing me the most. Best car portal around, that I have to refresh every time that I want to write a new text in. So this is 48, let's use, I don't know, 32, and this is 24, let's use 16 maybe. Yeah, I think that's going to work just fine. Let's position it like this. There we go. 24, 34, let's use something like this. Is it 26? Yeah. And let's give this section title. Section title, like this. There we go. 72, let's move it just down slightly to 112 maybe. Let's see how that works. And Control Enter or Command Enter lets you go into quick mode. Let's hide these for a second. Go back to it, just so you don't see these drop downs, and you can see how all of these are working. And if this is a component, it's going to actually animate, so you can place these inside. What are we thinking? Is this good, or should we use 24? Maybe 24 is the better option for this, so let's go with 24. Let's test it out and see how that looks like. There we go. So 24, I think that looks good. And now what I'm going to do for the final like 5 or 10 minutes or whatever, I'm going to use this, hopefully, if it works, Control D, and I'm going to call it feature. Again, feature, like that. Down just a little bit, position it right here. Let's give this hide myself so you can see it. This should be left aligned, this should be left aligned as well, like so. There we go. Both of these like this. There we go. And now I need to bring my grid lines back to 40 like this, just so that we can see some of them like this. And then what we have right here, 32. So I'm going to actually use let's actually then use this to be 40, for example. Yeah, 28, 32. something like that. I think that works quite well. And this can be 112 like this. Finally, let's fix these because we are going to have 3 of them. Let's put this to be 4 columns wide, perhaps something like this. And because it's 24, maybe we can use 16 on this one. Yeah, I think it's going to work a little bit better at 16. Like this. There we go. So body 16 works well. Let's actually close it right around here. And what I want to do is simply drag my icon inside. So let's use that blue one once again. Position it right here. Go back to my layers panel. There we go. Move it to be, because icons are 24 by 24, it's going to be super simple to position and organize them however you want. So like this. There we go. What I can do is I can turn on stack for this group for the text. And this first one should actually say buy or sell cars. Buy or sell cars, like this. Then I can group this one as well. Position it in a stack, but in this direction, like this. And call this features. Like this, and then I need 3 of them. Let's see if it decides to work. There we go, finally. And let's separate them with 24 like that. So buy or sell cars, then financing, easy financing, there we go. And finally quality dealers. There we go. So there we go, we have these features, and as I said, I'm going to add different icons to this design later and use some native icons, including my animated icons. Now what I need to do right here is maybe move it to 80. I think it's going to work fine. Let's select this, lower down the opacity, bring this file so we can preview it. I think it works quite right. Maybe in the design, maybe we can add some more advanced options here in the background, like these blobs and colors, and perhaps even some gradient to just pop this section in a little bit more. Of course, this is going to have different icons, which can be in color or not. Then here it's going to have different icons, and we are going to obviously play around with the text color as well. But this is just for the quick wireframing, as I said. So now let's continue with this section. So with our logo strips. So what I'm going to do right here is basically just drag and drop my logos inside, but we are going to use some bigger logos later. So these are just some logos which I use exactly for these purposes. So you can simply drag them inside, put them in a group like this. There it is. So we have logos or partners, however you want to call them. Position them right here. There is my grid line, like that, 40. Bring this in to roughly around here where we are from this section too much. So 114 was it? 112, yeah. So there we go. And I'm going to use a stack feature to make 4 copies, for example. You're going to notice these logos are going to be just a touch too small, but it doesn't matter. We are going to fix that later in the design. The whole point here was to give you options with these sizes, because this is a car business. Maybe we should include car brands like this, and perhaps we can add one more. Let's duplicate it and add, I think I have a Tesla logo. Here it is, like so. There we go. Now I'm going to switch off my stack because I want to position this last logo all the way to the back. And this is what I said, it's going to be a little bit too small for this grid, but it doesn't matter because this is just a wireframe. We're going to fix that later in design. And select and simply distribute them around like this. So we have partners, we have our sizing. What we have next is trending new cars. So let's actually push on through and see if we can do this. So what I'm going to do actually is, first of all, select this section title, duplicate it, move it down to 112 like this, and then position this down. And let's give it a different title. So trending new cars. New cars. And as I said, we are going to add a completely different copy inside the design section in the next live stream. So what we need right here is we need these three images. Then we have price, car name, location with an icon. So let's use that. So let's actually use this because we already have it. Control C, Control V right here. Come on, there we go. Position it right here, feature, move it down like so. And then what I'm going to do right here is drag my image because we are going to have three of them. So image is going to be 4 columns wide. So let's locate our images where they are here. So 4 columns, drag and position it right here. There you go. So 4 columns like this, and we don't need it to be this tall. So maybe we can do something like this. I don't know. What is it? 2 to 4. And I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. So I'm going to put this information icon with this text, but before that, I'm going to simply clip it like that. It's going to say location like this, and it's going to be a different color like that. Finally, let's break this stack. So I'm going to switch it off, just so I can move these two together. So I'm going to position this information icon down right here in the center. This is going to be, let's say, 16. So 2 of these boxes, 2 of these squares like so. This is going to say information or location. And then instead of this information icon, let's use a location icon. So where are my icons? Here they are. Location, here it is. Simply drag and drop it until this becomes blue. You can simply let go of it like that. And I'm going to close this. So what we have is price, car name, and location. So I'm going to duplicate this, make it blue. But before that, let's lower it down to 24 maybe. Like that, make it blue. This is going to say price. Let's say 24,596,526, and this is going to be, let's say, Mercedes Benz GLC 220 D Fairmatic. Don't ask me how I know these things. So let's lower that 32. I think it's a bit too much, so maybe 24. Yeah, that works fine. Now finally, let's adjust how all of these look like. So let's put this here. Let's call this car. Come on, car, card. Like so. I'm going to use a stack on it. And for all of these items, let's use 24 maybe. This here. For some reason, it always groups these items inside. I don't want it to group it, so ungroup. Where is this location? There we go. So we are at 24 for all of these items. Let me quickly check once again. Yeah, so 24, 24 everywhere, which is what I wanted in the first place. So I'm going to use 1, 4. Let's go with a little bit smaller distance. So let's go with 80. Let's group this car card into car cards. So let's refresh it, car cards, like so. Let's use a stack on it. And for this top one, what I'm going to do is put this in a group and call it row. Because later on, if you decide to code this, and hopefully in the future we are going to use Webflow, because the website I showed you, the landing page is created inside of the Webflow. So when you're creating these, maybe we can give this a combo class row, for example, so it's much simpler to work just with one item and then simply group it like I'm doing here in Xd. So instead of this direction, I'm going to go in this direction. but for the row itself, like this. And let's see, row, come on, let me hide myself so you can see the stack, and it should go in this direction. It does. So we need 2 more because this is taking up the 4 columns in width, like this. There we go. And for some reason it pushed these items, so let's get rid of these 2 really quickly. I'm not sure why I did that. Perhaps because I was changing the direction of the... Let's see. Come on. Today is just not my day. And this is the reason why I started earlier, but still it just doesn't work. It's just buggy and laggy, and I hate Google Chrome. So let's put this to here. Let's position this to here. That's right. And let's try again. So now we are left aligned. Try it again. 2 copies. Come on. There we go. On the row itself, we are going to have the distance of 24 instead of 10, like this, and then Control D to duplicate and create another row, but just position the stack in a different direction. Come on. There we go. And the distance should be 24 here as well. Finally, what I want to do is create a button here, but maybe I don't want to put it inside of these car cards. Maybe I want to put it lower. So I'm going to actually go into my buttons. Let's close these icons so they are not bothering us. Images, buttons, there we go. Button fixed. And let's use medium, because these medium ones are the ones we used throughout the design so far. Mediums are basically created for your tablet sizes, but they can be used for any kind of size that you want. See all cars, maybe, I think for the text, see all cars, like so. And because we are doing this as a custom component, come on, close. Let's position it here and then extend this to here. There we go. So now we get this big button, and instead of 100, let's go with something like 84, maybe 76, because this is cutting a bit down. So there we go. We have our main button, and there we go. Basically, we are running through really nicely, just below an hour. So I'm really happy with all of these difficulties, technical difficulties that we are still working anyways. So let's now deal with this one. So we have image, then the text, and then these 2 arrows left and right. So let's actually use this, what we have right here. So I can really power through this. So let's select card. Come on. You can see how slow it is once I click inside. So let's take some text from here. Let's take these 2. Control C. Actually close this really quickly. And this is what I'm working with my local file. Just imagine how slow this would be if I was working with the cloud document while still having all of these options open. So it would just be terrible. So let's quickly check the design. So we have the title at the top, what customers are saying. Then we have the actual quote, we have the name and the car they bought. So let's use this. So let's see, use this to be a car. Come on. So let's take this text, let's put it here like this. Just delete this, and we're going to use that gray color. So this one, and for some reason like this. So we have that's going to be the name, so customer name, like that. And let's quickly align it so it's somewhere around here, maybe like that. Customer name should be bigger. Come on, 24, and maybe we can go with 32 on this one, like this. 24. There we go. So customer name and then car they bought, and the image can be, I don't know, 2, 4, 5 maybe, or 6. Let's see. Let's go with 6 columns because we used that image at the top. So 6 columns wide. There we go. This should be at 1012, I think, something like that. So let's go here. It says 96, so perhaps, yeah, like that. So let's position this around right here. What I'm going to do is drag and drop my icons straight in. So icons, and I need these, so left and right, so we can actually click left and right. Come on, there we go. I'm going to close these, go to my layers panel, move this up. Once again, I'm really sorry guys that this is going so slowly, but what can you do? You can always fast forward through these parts if you're bored of me talking and watching these bugs. So Stefan, is it able to work with so many components? Will the same documents with a few more pages hold up? No, actually I was able to duplicate these. So let me actually unzoom a little bit. So all of this that you see right here, I was able to duplicate it, position it right here, include images, change the colors of that separate. So basically just think of it as template number 1 should be this, template number 2 was that. So I added different colors, I added images, I added more states to the components and stuff like that, just to try to break it, just to see where it ends, and it just doesn't end. You can just go and create because you have all of this space, so it doesn't really matter because you have all of these groups right here. You can create components, you can put whatever you want here, and because it's so light, the Xd is, it's going to work just fine. The trouble is, in my case, I cannot show you that because I'm streaming on this screen and not on this screen that I'm watching right here. I have this, what's called Restream, and that's the software I'm using, this tool I'm using to go live. And because I'm connecting this tool to 30 different places, so I'm streaming live to YouTube right now, I'm streaming live to Behance page, I'm streaming live to Twitter, for example, and all of these pages you can go live to Instagram. It just doesn't work with Chrome very well, and they are recommending Chrome, so not to bore you too much because we already have so many of these problems. That's actually the problem. The Xd itself is not a problem, trust me. You can do the experiment yourself, simply create all of these components, you can do whatever you want, put images inside, put shapes, try to break it. You can see it's not breakable, especially if you have faster machine, then it's really not breakable. If you have SSD and, for example, 16 gigabytes of RAM, it's going to work just fine. It's going to power through all of these, especially later on when you add different transitions, different animations and stuff like that. It's really not that breakable. These components are super light because they don't have images inside. When you start adding images, obviously you are going to improve the size of enlarge the size of the file, and the more images that you have inside, obviously the file is going to get bigger. And at the moment that you're watching this right now, I think we are at 24 megabytes or something like that, so it's not really all that huge. And I was working with files in one of my previous course, I think it had like 170 megabytes or something like that. That was really huge, and then it started to break just a little bit. But because I was adding all of these elaborate animations to each and every section, because I just wanted to see if it's going to break or not. But in this case, it's not going to break at all. So you can test it out for yourself, download Xd and put whatever you want inside. You can see it's really not that breakable. So let's try to finish this today. For the footer and this call to action, I'm just going to use the template because I want to cut this live stream short. So what customers are saying and the text right here. So let's duplicate this one, Control D, position it right here. So what customers are saying, like that. And below that, I'm going to use this, Control D, change it to this, or even this, 16 maybe. No, let's go with 24. Extend it all the way to here. And let's go with 2 or 3 lines, maybe something like that. Let's choose lorem ipsum, insert text like that. There we go. Position it here, so 28 maybe, and I'm going to put this roughly around here, then change this because I don't really like how it looks like at the moment. So 24, and this can be 16. So there we are, 16, and we're going to change it back to that color like so. This should be roughly 24 or 30. Let's move it here, and these two should come in the center. And you can see now when I'm working, it doesn't bug. So obviously it does work, but stupid Google Chrome. So let's group all of these. Let's select these two, this, Control G, and I'm going to call this testimonial maybe. Testimonial, like that. Position it below, like so. And now what I need is a blog that you can see here. So let's see, we have the date, we have the text. So perhaps maybe we can take this that we just created. So Control D on the testimonial like that. And I'm going to position it roughly here. I'm going to take this section title, Control D, and I'm going to, where is it? This one, yeah, okay. So I'm going to put this right here, so 1, 12, like this, with just below testimonial should go right here because that's going to be our blog, like this, and this should say from our blog. Let's see, from our blog. And you notice that I'm leaving this text on purpose here just because I want to save as much time as possible for this live stream. So let's put it roughly around here, maybe like that. And what I want to do is, because I want to have this image to be 4 columns wide, so I'm going to come right here and make this 4, like so. There we go. And I'm going to move my text in. So I'm going to have the date, but I'm going to use this text as a date. And for example, give it, I don't know, which date is it? Today is 07. Oh, you're welcome, Stefan. 7. Like that. And this should be, for example, blog title. This is the article itself, text of the article, and let's choose these because we don't need these anymore, like that. And finally, what I'm going to do is position this text a little bit closer to the edge, maybe right here, like this. And the great thing about this image component, because it's a component and basically it just has this image icon inside, the great thing about it is you can simply adjust it in size. So you can simply position the height roughly around here, and it's going to still retain that structure and basically still be an image like you saw it, but you can simply adjust the height of it. Position it right here, and because now we need 4 columns wide for this text, let's select it. Come on. There you go. And I'm going to simply adjust it to be 4 columns wide, maybe right around here, something like that. Because this is a dummy text, it really doesn't matter. And we are going to add a real content once we actually start designing. This is not a testimonial anymore. Let's see. This should be a blog card. So 4 to no. So let's see, blog card. And instead of 4, I'm going to use 3 for my image, like this. And let's use it right around here, maybe. And let's see, because I want to space this out to be 6 columns wide, so my text should be smaller. And perhaps maybe we can even use a smaller text here. So instead of this, which is 24, maybe we can use 16 regular. There we go. And instead of 4, we can use 3. So 1, 2, 3 columns for the image, 1, 2, 3 for the text. There we go. We can close this a little bit. And let's see, organize it just a touch. If possible, we can even put it in a stack. There we go. Like that. And yeah, let's call it a day. Let's say that that's it. So like so, and Control G. Sorry, I was watching comments. We had some spam comments just a second ago. Like that. So block cards. Like that, and I'm going to use the stack feature once again. And let's say we need 2 of them. Like that. Actually, we can call this row. Like so. Give it a distance of 24. Put this in a group. Blog articles. Like so. Put this as a stack, but this vertical stack instead of horizontal one. Duplicate another row. There we go. And now same distance as we did for the row and all of these other ones, 24, like so. And finally, what I need is that main button. So I'm going to use this copy. So same copy for it. And I'm going to simply position it maybe at, I don't know, 80 or something like that. See, 85. Maybe we can position this to line up, and then we are going to add that 80. There we go. So just put the button down below. And finally, what we need is we need this call to action with our email and subscribe, and we need the footer for this case. So let's see. Call to action. I'm going to go to my templates. So we are now at atoms and molecules, and let's actually check right here. So we are at call to action. So let's try to find it. I'm going to use this one. So it's call to action. Let's see which one. 5. Okay. So let's jump in right here. Switch to my templates. Here we go at the bottom. Large, because we need large. Call to action, here we go. Call to action number 5. There we go. Simply drag and drop it inside like this. It's going to position it in place, hopefully. Come on. I genuinely don't know what's going on with XD today and with this machine. Oh, here we go. It posted it here for some reason. Yeah, because I was here all the time. So let's take this one. Let's delete it. Because I was putting them in a stack in the original group templates right here. They were located right here. So I cut them and place them right here on this artboard. Like that. And let's use that for now. And we are going to fix that later in the next video. I'm going to select this background just for a second, and I'm going to apply this different color, marble, for example. It's going to work just fine for this case. And finally, what I'm going to do is use a footer. So instead of call to action, I'm going to go to footers, and I'm going to go to footer number 4, for example, drag and drop it. See if it works now. It does. That's great. Position it right here. And what I don't need for this particular footer is this. So this email and subscribe for updates. We can actually take those and put them here, but we are not going to. And for this, what we're going to do is basically say something like ready to buy or sell your car today. Get started now in record time or whatever. And then in the next video, we are actually going to add a real copy inside of this, because this is a default state. Let's call this register. Come on, work, please. Register now. There we go. And because that's our main fixed large, it doesn't have any states, and basically there we go. So we need to change all of these. We need to add a different logo, which I am going to do, by the way, and I'm going to add a separate logo to make this obviously look a bit more professional and a bit more presentable to your clients. But basically the whole point here is to show you in this sadly broken live stream that you can do all of these things really quickly. Simply drag and drop onto your page, position them wherever you want, and finally once you are done, let's now click here and close this artboard. This is the option I would like Xd to have, but sadly it doesn't. Just clipping the artboard at the bottom, while at the moment I have to do all of this manually, which is not really that big of a deal, but still, if the better option would be available, it would be greatly appreciated, because it will save you a lot of time. So let's bring this down, let's Control Enter, and let's check out what we created in this live stream. So we have created this animation. We have this button, we have these two buttons which work on hover. Then we have these drop downs. We have created this title for each section, which repeats obviously, and we're going to add the different icons here for these three services, and of course different copy. Then we have these logos. Obviously they are small, but you can easily just enlarge them, and we are going to do so in the next live stream. Then we have these cards, trending new cars. So if you decide to create a component, for example, from this one, and let's say put it on hover or something like that, then it's going to have that effect throughout all of these, which is great. Then we have see all cars, and we can add hover states later, which we are going to do, and that's why I chose to use some buttons predefined and some buttons which are going to be added later with the new styles. What customers are saying here, we are going to include animated icons just to see on hover how it looks like. From our blog you can see all of these. See all cars, register now. It doesn't have any states, just like this one. And finally here we are going to populate this footer and change this to the actual name of the brand later. And here we have these social media icons. So basically that's it. In 1 hour 10 minutes I finished what I could do in 30 minutes, sadly, because of these issues. So sorry once again for all of these issues, but I still hope that you enjoyed at least a little bit. Once again, if you want to get Inception Design System and test it out for yourself, you can check it out at inceptiondesignsystem.co. You can check out the course and see how it works without any interruptions. And once again, you can check it out, you can test it out for yourself. And if you cannot wrap your head around, like I saw one comment from Stefan, about all of these components, what I would recommend you to do is quite simply, if you don't want to invest money in Inception Design System yourself, you can take free UI kits. You can drop them that somebody else created. You can drop them inside Adobe Xd with images, with animations, with whatever the other person has created, and see for yourself how much Xd can take, because it's amazing. It took me over 2 years of research, planning, preparing, structuring, strategizing, and all of these things just to come up with Inception Design System, and then 6 months of full-time work every single day to create Inception Design System, because this is really huge work to put it into use, which is useful for other designers as well. So every time that you fire up Inception Design System, you can be sure that it's going to work properly and not like I just show you here because of this stupid Google Chrome. So it's going to work Test it out for yourself. If you're not happy, I will refund you the money, no problem at all. But trust me, it's going to really change your life and change the way you work with Adobe Xd and design systems in general, but especially in today's day and age when we have to design for multiple screen sizes and use these elements throughout these different screen sizes. So thank you once again for sticking with me today with all of these technical difficulties and issues, and hopefully the next live stream we are not going to have these difficulties. Thank you so much, take care, and until next time, take care.